was a sun bear, small and sturdy, with a bright orange patch on his chest that looked exactly like a rising sun. Basil didn't spend his time climbing for honey or napping in the shade. Basil was the painter of the seasons. His tent was a marvel of natural art. He had jars made of hollowed out acorns filled with pigments he'd gathered himself, crushed blueberries for the deep evening sky, yellow pollen for the centers of daisies, and red clay from the river bank for the autumn heat. His brushes were made from the softest tail hairs shed by friendly squirrels. One afternoon, Basil noticed that the forest felt a little too green, a little too heavy. The air was waiting for a change. He realized it was time to prepare the morning frost palette. As he was mixing a new shade of early fog gray, a tiny harvest mouse named Pipkin scurried into the tin. Pipkin was carrying a single perfect maple leaf. "It won't turn, Basil," Pipkin squeaked. "I've been waiting all week, but it stays green. The woods feel stuck." And that is the end of chapter 1. Let's move together to chapter 2. The Trail of the Tinted Toes. Basil gave a slow, thoughtful nod. Sometimes, Pimpkin, the woods just need a little nudge to remember how to change. Basil didn't use a brush for the big jobs. He dipped his large padded paws into his jars of sunset orange and deep ochre. Then, with Pimpkin riding safely in his ear, Basil began his transition walk. He walked through the grove, and everywhere his paws touched the ground, the moss turned a shade deeper. When he brushed his flank against a bush, the leaves would shiver and blush into a warm burgundy. They walked toward the glassy pond, the center of the grove. The journey was a slow, rhythmic dance. Basil taught Pipkin the leaf lullaby, a slow humming sound that bears make to tell the plants it's okay to let go and rest. "You see," Basil whispered, his voice like the rustle of masterpiece of moonlight. As the sun began to set, the grove was transformed. The silver birch trees stood out against a canopy of gold and red. Basil and Pipkin reached the glassy pond, which acted as a giant mirror for the sky. Basil had one last color to use, a shimmering, translucent paint made from crushed moonstones and morning dew. He dipped his claws into the jar and drew thin silver lines on the surface of the pond. As the moon rose, the lines began to glow, creating a path of light that led straight to the center of the water. "There," Basil whispered. "The masterpiece is finished. The world is ready for the gold." He walked Pipkin back to his tiny nest of woven grass and tucked him in with a small painted leaf for a blanket. Then Basil returned to his den under the birch roots. He felt a wonderful, heavy tiredness in his limbs, the kind of tiredness that comes after making something beautiful. He didn't wash the paint off his paws. He liked how they smelled of the earth and the berries. He curled up in on his bed of cedar boughs, his orange sun patch glowing softly in the dark. The forest outside was now a gallery of quiet colors, all waiting for the first snowflake to fall. Basil closed his eyes, his breathing slowing to a deep, steady hum, and fell into a sleep filled with dreams of a perfect white canvas. The end, besties. I hope you enjoyed the story. I hope you had sweet, beautiful dreams like you. Good night. Good night. I love you all so much, and I wish you all the sweetest, calmest, most relaxing dreams and relaxing sleep.